Testing 1 2 3. Let us know if the audio is coming through. It looks okay here. I was just on the weekend on a regular show, by the way. Hi everyone. Just thought the audio was a bit hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a chat and we're going to test things out. Because you know, you can't just, when you do this caper, you can't just sort of go, oh, just turn it on and it's going to work the same every week. Apologies for the light strip there and on my face. It's the sun coming through the window and I can't really be bothered putting anything in front of it. You guys are going to just have to put up with it. Right, who have we got? Have we got anyone? Apparently we do. Hello. So we are streaming on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Trovo, YouTube. So all across the different platforms. Do jump into chat in those platforms if you want. I'm going to keep an eye on as many as I can. I'm solo today, so if you hear snoring in the background, it's Bonnie, the dog. She's snoring a little head off. She just does that. Anyway, I'll just quickly say hi in TikTok. And already comments are going into Twitch, so we'll just get the Twitch up here with the thing muted. Yeah, it's muted. Cool. All right, anyone in Twitch? Don't think there's anyone in Twitch yet, but anyway, it's not a problem. I'm just checking to see if sounds are working. Yeah, that seemed to be working. Cool. All right, I noticed there was a pub just being streamed about 2 hours ago in the UK, so you guys have probably gone off to bed. But if you're still around, join us. Doesn't matter if it's late at night. It's a Sunday night for some of you. It's a Monday here where I am. It's just about 11:14 a.m. my time. I'm in Perth, Western Australia, if you're wondering. Behind me, I'm going to turn all this gear on. This is all the synths. I use my phone to turn it on. So let's have a go here. Sorry, I got to see what I'm doing with my glasses. So synths, you'll see these lights come on. Boom. And you heard a little pop sound. And then you'll see these lights come on. Boom. You probably heard that as well. Hey Matthew, how's you going, buddy? Let me just keep an eye on all the different chats. So if you prefer TikTok or if you prefer Twitch, jump onto those platforms. That is fine. I'm just going to launch the chat bot. God, it's annoying, this software. I'm going to have to fix this. Oh, and there's also, if you want to join us on the camera, you can join us on Zoom as well. I will pin the link in a second. Just let me get myself all sorted. Where's the Zoom link? Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay. There's the Zoom link pinned in the YouTube chat. I will do the same in Twitch. .ly/Ramsey Zoom. Can you pin in, you can. There you go. I didn't know you could pin. Anyway, we'll take that off. Got a couple of housekeeping things. I've got the chatbot about to launch. It is not quite ready to go yet. A couple of housekeeping things. What can we do? Okay, firstly, if you guys are watching me for the first time, you can join us on our Discord server. It's free to join. You don't need to be a member or anything like that. There's no monetary requirement. I know a lot of these YouTube channels, they require you to join, and then you join it and then you find out you get nothing. This is actually like a proper community, a proper synth community. So bit.ly/Ramsey Discord. Jump into Discord. I will keep Discord open. It is open. Yep, cool. You can see it. So you can jump in, free to join. No questions asked, no problem at all. What else can we do? We can remind everybody that we are running through Streamlabs. That's why we're streaming on the multiple platforms. If you do want to send a TTS, a text to speech, it'll pop up across the screen. You can do it through streamlabs.com/Ramsey. The reason why you want to do it through there is because they only take 3% commission, whereas YouTube and some of the other platforms, they'll take 30%, up to 30% commission, which is pretty nasty, and I don't think they deserve it, to be honest. I mean, I know they've got to keep the lights on, but I have to as well. So you can check that out as well. Let us know what you guys are into in the chat. This is just a sort of like a chew the fat, testing audio out, just because I just thought on the show audio was coming through a bit hot. Is it coming through a little quiet now? If it is, let me know, because I've popped it back about 0.7 dB on the master. So, I mean, let's cross over to the intro. Oh, the music's just finished. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad, does it? So yeah, what can we do? I've got all the synths and that turned on. We can muck around with those. I should probably get Ableton. Oh yeah, Ableton's up and running. Turn on my... have I got... Yeah, okay, I can do that. I think is... What? Why is that not working? Oh. OBS did not shut down properly. That's why. I can't see anything on the screen. Ah, there we go. Okay, Ableton's running. There we go. Ableton's running. I've got MIDI coming in. I can put anything on there if we want. I can route it out to synths. I can put software synths on there. We can do that. Yeah. I'll just wait for a few more people to pop in. 7 people on YouTube. Getting there. It was an unscheduled stream, so I don't expect miracles today. How many people on Twitch? Where's the numbers? Only 1 person on Twitch. Twitch is kind of interesting, isn't it? Shall we do a little background music? Why don't we do that? So if I go to, where's my lists? Lists. Trying to find the little thing. Sorry, guys. I have, if you're wondering, I use vMix. And I have 100 scenes in here to sift through to find stuff. So that's why sometimes I find it a little hard to find things. But like, you know, when you're thinking about scenes, these are some examples of the scenes that I've got. You know, so lots and lots of different camera angles and stuff like that. I've also got the PTZ above my head. You can, that way, sorry, that one, you can see that. Let's get that going, because I know guys like that. So we'll run that across here, and then I will adjust it for you. Watch this, it's really cool. I love using the PTZ, so you can zoom down, pan, all that sort of stuff there. There you go, there's my modular. Go to the right a little bit, zoom in a bit, Sorry about the mess on there. I've just been working on a couple of things, but you guys like to see that stuff. All right, so there's this modular here, both of them. I made these two cases, if you want to call it. So there is actually a whole bunch of videos on my channel, live streams and stuff, where you can check that out. Quite often you'll see me change all the modules in here to different things. So at the moment I'm going through some testing, product testing stuff. I was testing a whole bunch of feedback modules. Should probably stay on there, should I? All these feedback modules coming through here. The latest one I've been testing is the 4XXX compressor. Currently in the middle of doing videos on that at the moment. I can zoom in on that if you like. Pretty cool. We did a live stream on it a couple of weeks ago. Let's go across, zoom in again, go up a bit, keep zooming in, go across a bit. So this one. So the 4000 series SSL compressor is what it's based on, if you're wondering. Yeah, pretty cool. Right, back to me, back to my ugly mug. What else can we do? We're going to testing the audio today, just for different levels, just for different shits and giggles. Okay, so what I reckon we'll do is, why don't we chuck something through the compressor? I can do that. We can do that in Ableton. Right, so what we're going to need to do, maybe, do I have a, yep, I have a project all ready to go. Let's run, yeah, you can see it. Now let's run, seems to be working okay, and I just want to watch the levels. It's quiet though, that one. That's quiet. I reckon we could pump that back up again. That's just audio. So see if we can get the sidechain working on this thing. We do need a kick, don't we? Let's try if we can get the kick going. I think what we might do is pan this down a bit, zoom it out a bit, go left a bit. So we're going to run this sequence here into generated by oscillators include signals broadcast by radio and television transmitters, clock signals that regulate computers and quartz clocks, and the sounds produced by Electro.
electronic beepers and video games.
Interesting. Let's try that again. Maybe we can just send a gate to it. Yeah, it's working now. I mean, technically you're supposed to pump it through a high-pass filter, but it's working fine. There you go. That's cool fun. Cool. Chuck me in the bottom. Yeah. Audio. The only way for me to check this stuff is to actually visually look at the VU meters on the various streaming platforms, which I'm looking at, and it doesn't seem to be too bad. Guys, let us know in chat if you think the audio is good. What are we on? Different. TikTok is saying, please share my live and invite your friends. I don't know why it's asking me to do that, but I'll do it. Not really a big TikTok person. Hey, musicmerch.me. Awesome. Whoops. Don't worry about it, mate. All good. I've done that before so many times, eh? Okay. Enough of that view. Let's go back to Abe's Lincoln Live. Ooh, hey, Mac. I actually like the other. I mean, it's not that I don't like your Mac. Macrodos, Nick. I like the other one too. I think it's pretty cool. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we get some MIDI happening. Okay. So where are we? Let's bring in one of the VSTs that I got given recently was the Xils-labs, the 80. And I should give them a bit of a plug because it actually is a really, really good VST version of the CS80 for a few reasons, but the main one is that it actually has 3 oscillators, 3 voices, whereas the original only has 2. And you can enable the third just by going boom, like that. And now she's enabled. And then it's got a delay on that, has it? My glasses are not playing ball today. I don't know if it's my eyesight or my glasses. Yeah, delays on. There we go. And if we turn that third voice off, turn it back on again. There's got to be a mixer somewhere. Where's the mix? Mix. There's the volume, VCF level. There we go. Let's put a square wave on it. So that sounds very, very vanilla, doesn't it? So we're going to get a bit of envelope happening. a bad sounding VST, is it? Hey, Uncle Chrome. Uncle Chrome is the uncle of Google Chrome. No, just kidding. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, just testing a few things out, guys. Mainly the audio. So please let us know if you're not happy with the audio as it's appearing on your stream. If it's too low, too high. It's not even peaking at my end, so it should be okay. You can see it there. I'm sharing you the Xils-labs output so you guys can see. Let's go back to Ableton. Let's see if we can get that octave down a bit. Massive oscillators going nuts. Let's see if we can change these. What have we got here? We've got a sawtooth and a ramp and a square. We don't want ramps going, so I think we'll stick with that. But nothing like a bit of pulse width mod. Does that reverb sound a bit naff? Let's turn it off. Yeah, it's the Xils-lab, Xils lab. You can see it just down the corner here, Xils-lab, and it's called the 80. It's a CS80 emulation. Now let's use some other forms of reverb instead of the one that's in here. I don't mind it. It's okay. It's just not rocking my boat. So let's go into the reverb. I know that's the Ableton reverb. We can actually just play around with that for a bit. Let's use our ears, guys. Do we think reverb on Ableton versus reverb on Xils-lab? There are some things we can change about the reverb, by the way, but I'm just for now. What do you prefer? That one? Xils-lab? Or maybe throw a spanner in the works here. Why don't we throw a spanner in? Actually, I can throw two spanners in, but at the moment I'm just going to throw one. We're going to chuck Eventide Black Hole in just for shits and gigs. And we're going to go factory Black Hole, mix it all the way up to the max, and then we are going to go... Oh, the other thing I did today too, guys, I noticed in Streamlabs, in here, probably not going to be able to show you, but I noticed in here, in this settings, it was streaming at 44.1. What the? And I'm like, no, not 44.1, no. So I don't know if that was actually happening. If it was, that sucks. So it should be 48. Let's find a different patch. Well, we can make a patch actually. Let's zoom in a bit. Command Option Plus. Let's zoom in on this, say. What should we do? Let's add a bit of... Well, let's turn all the other two oscillators off. We're going to have just a square. Just one oscillator, wow. Let's add some pulse width. Now let's add the third one in, because that's also a square, but I'm going to back the pulse width off on that one. And I think that's a bit too hot, so we'll bring that down a bit. Let's turn the reverb off for a sec. Okay. All right. Why don't we pan the voices? So let's have the higher voice slightly to the right and the lower voice in the middle. You'll see the method to my madness in a minute, because we've got a bassy sound with that one. So you get that effect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to enable the third voice, and that one's going to be panned slightly to the left. Right, now I'm wondering if we can do a bit of FM. Just very subtle. Do we have a way to turn off the aftertouch? It's annoying me a little bit at the moment. Where is the aftertouch? Touch response. Oh, you guys have just all disappeared. You've got Dazza. How you going, Dazza? You've got Aaron. How are you, Aaron? What else did I see in there? I never know how to pronounce your name. James is in there. Actpira. I always forget, because it's in a different text. I should copy that one day into my browser and just go translate. Okay, strum. Cool. All right. So it translates from Belarusian to English to the word strum. I like it. Zastruga. Zastruga. I like that. Or should we say strum? Because that's the literal translation. That's pretty cool. Like it. Right, what were we doing? Making a patch on the Xils-lab. Noise on this one. When you're doing multiple oscillators, turn off the ones that you're not working on. Now notice it sounds a little sickly. I want it to have that vintage sound. Alright, and then we're going to enable. So far, no effects. This is why everyone loves that synth, eh? It's why they do. But let's put some effects on. But why don't we back the effects off a bit, because I think it's kind of a bit too much. I might head over to the DD500, turn that on. Okay, DD500's on, and we're going to do a little cool trick now where we add a hardware return to an external out, pick the DD500, oops, one more down, there, just show you what I just did. It's over here. So we just added a hardware out to that, and then we're going to add an audio track. And that's going to be coming in from the DD500 in stereo, coming in, and then we can send the Xils-lab, the 80, out to my DD500. Well, that's getting really loud. Am I making a preset, a track, or both? We're just testing out stuff, mate, so whatever happens, happens. Some or none of the above. I'm not sure. I'm kind of just playing around with it because you don't really get a lot of chance. You guys can chime in too. You can see the interface here. Chime in if you don't like the third oscillator, or you like stuff, or you don't like stuff. You want to change it. One thing about the CS80 is it's kind of got a weird filter sort of setup and envelope setup on it. So not weird as in like it's completely gobbledygook, you don't have to understand it, but it's weird in the fact that you need to understand kind of this signal flow here from the oscillator through the low pass, the resonance, right? Then you've got this envelope here. Then you've got the level of the VCF. Then you've got the VCA, and then you've got these brilliance things. You've got initial brilliance and after brilliance, right? So say I don't really want to have any brilliance at all. Let's just back that right off. Like no brilliance. We'll turn brilliance off. do, brilliance is kind of this CS80 thing, right? So we're going to go into the effects on this, turn them all off. So we're just listening to each oscillator individually. And then what we're going to do, go across here, disable those two, and we'll just play around with this brilliance and you guys can hear the difference. So at the moment, these are all set to 0. So initial and after. And we'll turn this up a bit and then level. This gives it a bit of a raspy sort of sound, right? And then you've got the initial and after. So let's do that again. And then we're going to do an after. See how that kind of almost chokes it? So it's almost like a subtractive thing. It's getting a bit rid of that raspiness. All right, let's add the other two in. Now for me, I feel like almost there's too much of stuff here. You can hear that noise coming in now, and it's kind of annoying me. I feel like one of them needs a low pass, and I feel like it's the one with pulse width. Wondering if you can automate the pan. How do we do that? Click on it. Right click on it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Automate the pan. I mean, I guess you could do it through the DAW. That little pan there. It'd be nice if you could sort of automate it. I mean, we could get an LFO going on here. Yeah, I don't know if I could be bothered going into all that treachery. Anyway, how are we going with the patch? Do we feel like we've... For me, it sounds like there's multiple instruments, right? Which is kind of a cool thing. I don't know if it's what we wanted, but that sounds like there's not just one synth playing. It sounds like a couple of synths playing. Yeah, it's like a multiple. What's the questions? Can this do multi-channel audio output? Yeah, it can. Absolutely. I mean, the setup that I've got If you look at the external outs, this is going to get in the way, isn't it? So we're going to go here, Command, comma, and if I go into the output of the audio, right? So we're clicking on audio, and we're looking at the outputs, and you go output config. I've got all of those outputs available to me, and they're all individual. And at the moment, I'm being a little bit lazy because the other day I did a reset and haven't put all my labels back in. But you can see I've already labeled a couple of the mono outputs. So channel 3 and channel 4 go out to the Big Sky pedal and the DD500. There's a few others, like a couple of the stereo outputs go to the Akai MPC Live and the Akai Force. So you know, they would be labeled. When I get around to it, they'll be labeled again. But when you do a reset, you lose everything. It sucks. But anyway, it's fine. You can choose any of these stereo outputs or mono outputs in Ableton. And what I was doing before, when I was doing the compressor, I actually was fiddling around with the external outputs here. So I can choose, if I choose 1718 here, go up a bit. If I choose 1718 here, it'll go to the compressor. If I choose 1920, it'll go to a different output. And those two outputs are actually a module in my Eurorack called Expert Sleepers ES8, E for Echo, S for Sam 8. And I'll give you an example. So let's do 1920, and you'll see 1920 here. So if I scroll down a little bit, so you can see this channel here is outputting, you'll see it coming in on this channel here. So all I have to do is just go up here. Let's turn that one off. And then you can see input here 1718, which is going through the compressor, and I can change that to here. Now we've got the compressor working on it. Now we can also send it out to the DDD. So another thing I can do is, if I want the 80, which is the software synth here, I can actually send that out also to the compressor. So I just go external out, 1718, bang, and let's have them both go into the compressor. Now the compressor, and I'll just go across to here, and you can see the compressor here. I'll just take my mug off. There it is there. Now the 80's going through it. You can also see it peaking and the compressor actually doing its job. Interesting, eh? Well, I think so. I don't care if you do. Also interesting is that you can send stuff back out to other things too. So like, for example, what I was doing is I was coming in back in through 1718, I was listening to the compressor on this channel, and then I was going through a send to the hardware pedal of the DD500 through this C knob here on the sends, right? This C knob here, and then that was coming back in through this channel here. And the other thing you can do is you can create feedback loops. So let's show you that, because you'll actually like this. This is pretty cool. It gets a bit nasty, but we'll do a different drum beat. So you've got, that's going through the delay, right? So I'll turn it off. So you can see no delay over here. a little bit of a bleed, and then just back it off a bit. Now let's feed it back. I love doing that stuff. All right, what are you guys talking about? Can hear my dog snoring apparently. Yeah, see, VCVs are awesome, man. VCVs are awesome. One of the cool things about VCVs is if you have a hardware system, like I'm guessing you do as well, is you can use VCVs with your hardware system as well as with your software system. And then you can also bring in other things to it too. So I do have VCV rack here on Ableton as well. But the other thing too is you don't actually need VCV rack in Ableton. If you had Bitwig, same thing. By default, if you've got Ableton Suite, you can actually just use standard CV tools in it as well, which is pretty cool. Under the utilities, is it audio effects or utilities? I think it's which one it is now. There's a whole bunch of CV tools that you can use. And you can then, if you've got a DC coupled module, like by the looks you guys have got them, ES9s and stuff, you can then send that back out through your modular. You can control really cool stuff. And if you're really good and you know how to do things like Max for Life, you can make your own CV stuff, which is kind of cool. I never really got a chance to get into that myself, and thinking of doing it soon, because it's kind of like a little corner of Ableton that I've never really played with properly yet. But yeah, let's see if we can do something CV tools wise. So I think it's under audio effects, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. CV LFO. Let's do that one. So sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So we're over here. We've gone audio effects, and we're going to choose CV LFO, and I'm just going to bring that onto a separate track here. Obviously this has got to start, I guess it's going to crash. Is it going to, I don't know what it's doing. There we go. Okay, let's go down here. Now there's the LFO, right? This is a CV LFO. I can do everything just in here. I don't have to actually do it through the channel itself. If I want to, I can send that LFO out to here. This is the ES8 module right next to me. Actually a really good little spot here because I can just put it right next to my computer keyboard basically. All right, so what should we send it out to? Channel 5 is free here, and I just need to remember which one that is. So we'll send that out to there. Send it out to external out. And God knows which channel it's on. Just got to keep trying until we find one. Just give me a second till I find one. Okay, we're getting close. All right, I think it's 21. There we go. So if I go to here now, you guys with hawk eyes are going to see that. See that lighting up down there? That's now sending out that CV LFO. Now what I'll do is I will quickly do that. You can see the LFO there, and quickly do that. You can see it there. So now I can manipulate that LFO in here. So I can change it from a sine to a random. Change the rate. And now we can patch that into things like, let's say we want to have a square wave, right? And we want the square wave to be musical, so we're going to change that. Instead of to that, we're going to change it to the beat, and we're going to do it as a a 4 note, no, other way around, 1/4. There we go. All right, so that might be a bit quick, but let's try that, and we'll send that into our modules, which are over here. Zoom down and to the right. So we're going to patch that in there. Here it is there. Patch that in. Longer cable. All right, longer cable, patch that in there. And we'll get that to go up to here. And we'll trigger this drum beat here. So CV in, trigger. And then what can we put that in as? Output that into here. And then we should have, oops, that's supposed to be trigger. There we go. So now you've got the drum beat going in. Don't know why that's coming out. Oh, because I had it panned. All right, now we can go back to Ableton and play with our little CV tool, and let's bring that other drum in. I don't know if I like that. Maybe this one. There we go. Back over to our little CV. Let's muck around with that a bit, shall we? Alright, so what can we do? We can offset it. That's just offsetting the voltage. We can phase it. 50% phase. Or off. We can change the depth, which is not going to do anything. Alright, let's change the waveform to random. Instead of doing the drum, we'll do the hat. Turn that up. There you go, all controlled through CV tools. Back to a square. Back to the kick. How do I turn it off? I'll just unpatch it. There you go, CV tools, great fun. Okay, now, did anyone join us on Zoom? Sorry, I didn't even check. That's not Zoom. No, good. That was bad of me. Okay. Yeah, the AI has taken over mankind. Let's zoom out on that. But even with that LFO, I could actually map that LFO. I'm wondering if I could map that LFO to, if we go back to a sine. Can I map that LFO to the pan on the 80? Is it possible, guys? Shall we try it? So if we go, forget which one it is. No, that's draw mode, computer MIDI mapping, which is that one. And then we click on that. And then we click on, It's not letting me. It's not mappable. If it was mappable, it would appear in this list here. Oh, that's a bummer. That sucks. Anyway, what should we do next? What I'm thinking next is, I'm not loving that DD500 delay pedal. I might change that to the big sky. So what we'll do is we'll go into here and just remap that out to the big sky, and then go back to here, change the audio in on this one to the big sky, turn the big sky on, which I will do. I'll let you guys see me do that. Big sky is just over there in the corner, so I'll just go turn it on. Okay, we're on cloud. Let's see what it does now. Go back to the 80. No effects, right? Oh. Let's go to here. Might be able to. I mean, do we have time to muck around with that sort of crap? Parameter. Select a parameter. MIDI controllers assigning. Do that again. Select. Select. It's not letting me select. I just don't think it's letting me on that particular thing. I might ask the guys actually. I've got an email from them, ask them about it. I think that'd be interesting. Let's style a patch in anyway. I will need to save this patch. Save as. It's not a factory. It's a user. It's a me. There. We'll call it. What should we call it? Weird brass. There. And then go done. That didn't do it. Bang. Save as. There we go, that's done it now. Cool. Alright, let's choose a patch. Click done there. There was another patch that I made, wasn't there? Nerdy? What does my nerdy patch sound like? Let's just back off that big sky for a minute. This is a patch I made a little while ago when I first got this, because I wanted to play around with this this little panel here, which is really cool. It's kind of like you can automate between the three voices, and you can change the speed in that. So these are all the three voices, so voice 1, 2 and 3, and you can just kind of automate between them, and you get this. It's built-in delay on this, by the way. What was the other one I did? So user me nerdy decelerate. That was the other one. And you can play around with, I think, the mod wheel on this, it changes it. Pretty cool patch, that one. Good fun. So that's another one I did. When I get around to it, I'm going to build maybe a little pack of about, say, 5 or 6 patches, and I'll share them on the Patreon for free. I'm not quite there yet, but there was 3 anyway. But let's get someone else's patches, because they're better than me. What do you guys want to do? Pluck, pad? Some of these sequence ones are quite interesting, because it's got a sequencer in here as well, which it's up the top here. You got this modulations sequencer type thing up here. Pretty cool. Anyway, what do you guys want to do? I'll zoom in a little bit. You guys can. Is there a browser? Where's the browser for this? I thought there was a browser. Patch browser. Is it there? Yeah, there it is. I'll zoom in a bit. You guys can have a look. So we can go. These are all the different types. So you've got synth, string, sequence, pluck, pad, organ, mix, timbre, lead, keys, keypad, FX, drum, bass, bell, and brass. Sorry, I should say. Sequencer, yeah. And then what you do is you click that, and then that's going to show all the sequencer patches. And these are all the presets down here on the right. So pick one. You got acidified, basic, Patter, controlled EDM, Devrish, which would probably be a nod to Vangelis, I'd say, Drunk Mice, Proto Dance, Tick 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 Tick, and Wonky Chord Chugger. Wonky Chord Chugger, hey? Wow. Should we try that one? Yeah, why not? Why not? Indeed. Wonky chord chugger it is. Interesting. Interesting. Bass sequence? Bass sequence. I knew you'd say that. Basic. Acidified would probably be bass, wouldn't it? Surely. Interesting sequence and stuff up the top here. This is the sequency stuff that you can play with. That's pretty cool. What else was there? Basic patter. That one's quite interesting, I guess. Deverish was do this Vangelis one. That should sound like the little one, shouldn't it? Yeah, it's poly aftertouch. As you'd expect. 3 drunk mice. Almost Depeche Mode like, isn't it? Anyway, that is the sequencer, and then obviously learn how to use this thing is kind of cool because you've got modulation lanes here right through steps, and this is not rocket science for us. We should know how this works. So these are the steps. Each of these is the level of modulation, and you set the modulation up over here. So modulation 1, he's got this particular patch. He's got it going to the oscillator 1 frequency. The frequency is there on the actual frequency on the oscillator. And you can, it's cool actually, it's pretty cool. You can set it to all of these different things. And I'm just checking while I'm here to see if that pan's in there. Don't think it is. I'm going to ask them to make that happen because I reckon that would be a cool feature for a little software update for them. Yeah, it's not in there. Anyway, so you can come up with your own patch. So maybe we could go back to the patch that we were working on before. Where is it? There, the weird brass one. And let's turn our little thing on here and let's add modulations, and we'll add modulation 1. Let's do frequency on the filter, and you can change the amount here, right? This is kind of like the minimum maximum, but then in here you can draw this in like that. There we go. And nothing happens until you turn this baby on. Not really that great, but if we change it to something really obvious, like, I did find pan. I found pan. Oh wow. There it is there. Let's turn all these off. Anyone telling me what I've done wrong? Why can't I hear that? Maybe there's something I haven't done. Number of steps. Ah, there we go. Let's do 8 steps. Here we go. "16 steps. Hey, it's working now. Alright, let's do with the second one. We'll go back to the filter frequency. Let's dial that one in and we'll go up. Let's try that now. The other thing you can do on this too is mute steps. So I don't want that step, I can mute it. Interesting. That is actually pretty cool. I like it. I like it. It's good fun. Anyway, that's the little sort of modulation sequence that comes with it. Yes, let's override that. I was quite happy with that. And then I found my little pan thing. Now to find Tinkerbell. Yes, indeed. Where is Tinkerbell? It'll be in here. Under Bell. Under... Bell's from 1978. You know what we should do now? Now that we've found Tinkerbell, we should tell it to big sky it. Wow, Big Sky just had a big shit, didn't it? What the hell? Okay, go master. What the hell is feeding into Big Sky right now? What the hell was that? That was weird. always nice putting a bell down lower octaves because you kind of get a different feel from it. Like it's not so obvious that it's a bell sound. Might have been feeding back. Interesting though, isn't it? How it's just like having a big shit. But the cool thing about it is you can just go bang, turn it off, see you later. Let's see something here. So the other thing too is we were playing around with those patches before and it was going through the compressor and I forgot all about that. I assigned it through the compressor. The other thing I like about some companies that make VSTs, now if you guys are wondering, this is a Mac, an Apple Mac M1 Mini, so it's actually like pretty low spec in terms of what's available for a Mac these days. It's got 16 gig or something. Let's have a look. Yeah, 16 gig. And I kind of feel like, you know, there's VSTs that you can get that really push the CPU up here. You guys will notice this little CPU thing up the corner here. And sort of getting to almost 50%. So some VSTs really push the CPU. This one doesn't seem to be too bad. It doesn't seem to be too bad at all. Yeah. And don't forget, at the moment I've got Eventide Black Hole running, which you probably don't really need anymore, to be fair, because we've got the Big Sky running in the background, so we can turn that off. Hasn't really done... I don't find that Eventide VSTs do anything though. Generally speaking, delay, we'll just do that one to the Big Sky. And you can rename these. Big Sky. And the Big Sky return is there. Big Sky return. It almost sounds like one of those Japanese instruments. What other bells do we have? A ring mod bell. Really, this thing is just so Vangelis-y, isn't it? It's just like it's hard to escape it. I mean, he used it in so many tracks, though. Honestly, did he? But this is why I think there's a lot of CS80 VSTs out there. I think this one is not the best, but not how do I say it? It's not that it's the best and there's no one that's better than it. I think it's one of the best. So I think there's a few that are really, really good. And this one is up the top with them. So this is one of the reasons why I asked the guys to send me it so I could have a play and write patches for it, which I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, hope you guys have been enjoying the CS80 or the 80. But I think we should move away from that now and go back to modular. A lot of people tell me that they want me to do more modular on the show, more stuff on the modular here, and I'm okay with it, but I get a different group of people saying that that I just a newer rack at all. So you can only please one group of people at once with this stuff. But what we can do is this is all patched up. These oscillators and filters here, they're actually VCS3 clones from the EMS VCS3 Synthy type synthesizer, and they're actually using the same circuitry as the VCS3. So I've got the Korg SQ64 plugged in. Can't remember if it's patched. Load. Okay, good. Let's see if we can get this thing turned on. All right. Okay, now it's going. Sorry guys, I just had to set a few things up. This SQ64 is just there. And that's rocking and rolling. Geez, it's a little dusty, isn't it? A little on the dusty side. Anyway, no big deal. I'll get the duster out in a sec. So that's powering those oscillators there. And you guys can't hear it because I need to turn them on. Where are we coming in as? I think what you'll hear out of this, yeah, my dog's snoring. Do you guys want to see her? Just let me go to here for a sec. I'll put the camera on her. There we go, snore cam. She's a cutie. Told you she was snoring. Alright, give me a sec. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by dog snoring. Okay, so we've got it back here. Why did I turn that off? Alright, let's add. I feel that's out of tune. Which one is that? Okay, so this one is using the Jupiter 8 filter, but it is the VCZ oscillator. A bit quiet, isn't it? See if we can get this thing in tune. Sorry guys, just one sec. supposed to be a C. Here we go, we've got a C now. Should be in tune. That's good about the Jupiter 8 filter, it doesn't have that loss on the resonance kick. Alright, let's add the other one back in. And let's go to here. And alright, sorry, I just had someone come in. Right, so we are not getting any sound. Why is that? Okay, that's supposed to be a C. There we go. There we go. Now we should have them in tune. Let's just back that bass off a bit because we don't want it to overtake. Stop it for a sec and let's bring in some drums. And what happened to my camera? Bringing that 80 back in. Alright, let's see if we can bring another instrument into this. You really get that Jean-Michel Jarre sound out of these oscillators and this filter. That's the VCS3 filter. One of the things I've done is I've mapped the same oscillator that's doing this bass line, and I've mapped it coming out of another oscillator port on the module into this input here. So it's literally the same oscillator. Now the only difference is, instead of that going through the gear up here and the VCS3 filter, it's going through the Behringer filters over there, but I'm using the mats and I can do cool things like this. Now, do you remember before we were talking about using CV from Ableton? I just had an idea. So we've got that little CV thing here. And let's go back to that one which was kind of random, right? That one there. I need to make that a bit faster. I kind of feel like that one. This is what we want, right? And it's coming out still on this cable here. And we can chuck this cable into this. Now let's bring that other bass back in. Now if you feel that's kind of coming through a little harsh, you can back the attenuator off. Just let you listen to that by itself. But I kind of feel like I don't want to control it from there. I want to control it from here. And I believe I can, right? With the depth. Oh yeah, that's nice. And it's just very subtle now. Now we'll bring the other bass line back in. Another thing we can do too is if we patch that CV in to input number, where are we? So we're going to use the attenuator on the maths. Then we're going to come out of that, go back into that. that'll do. I got lost. I got lost in that. Yeah. I've been interesting trying to sort of play with things, but I kind of feel like you got to kind of deal with issues as you're doing it as well. Like I was kind of a bit of a negative, but I was finding that sometimes I was fighting with the sounds through the mixer, and some of them were kind of competing with others, and you're constantly kind of with these two mixers. I've got two here. They're both kind of technically the same. They've got different preamps, like flavor preamps in them, but they're technically the same. And I was kind of fighting at times with noises cancelling other noises out in the mix. And you do have EQs, like a low and a high EQ on these, so you can sculpt it a little bit, but in a way, it'd be nice to have a little bit more send and returns on these. Like even if it had a digital channel, I reckon a digital channel would be amazing for those mixes, and then that way I can pipe it back through Ableton. And if I want to run things like high pass filters, I've got high pass filters in my rack, no doubt, but then you've got to patch it again and patch it again. It's kind of like patch to patch to patch. It becomes a little bit too hard to do if you want to just do something quick. I kind of feel like that was what I was looking for just then. And then I ended up changing the sound a bit just to sort of help me. So you probably saw me playing with the filters a bit, saw me playing just to sort of try and get a different sound. And then I lost some of its essence by doing that. The other thing that kind of frustrates me a bit too is a lot of these techno-y sort of sequences, they become repetitive. I mean, obviously I was doing the same repetitive sequence. It was on a randomizer. I was changing the transposing of it. And I was changing the length and things like that on the SQ64 here. But it was kind of, to me, even still with that, I was getting frustrated because it just I wasn't really able to change it up enough. In my mind anyway. I think you guys probably won't notice it because I was doing other things like muting sounds and turning sounds on and changing sounds to try and hide that. But for me, the struggle was that I felt like you had to, it'd be just nice to break away from certain sequences. Now, to do that, you can just you can run these things in patterns and change the patterns and things like that. But I didn't really feel like I wanted to do that. I felt like what I wanted to do was kind of almost like to stop the sequence altogether. And so really the only way I could do that was to mute. But then it would have been nice to sort of play some of those sounds over the top. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. Bye. Who's going? Anyway, well, let's have a bit of a looky to see what I've been missing out on. Anyone in Twitch? Nobody in Twitch. Twitch was just completely dead. I don't even know why I bother with Twitch, to be honest. I do like it, but I just don't think we as musicians really kind of... It's almost like we don't belong there because we're gamers. We watch it as gamers, though, don't get me wrong. What would you guys like me to do next? I mean, not now. Next time I'll do this sort of ad-lib stuff. More of that stuff, just completely changing it. One of the things I thought we could do... let me move the camera. Where is the camera gone? Where is the camera gone? Is over on the left here, I bought that Behringer. See that red module, top left? That's a Behringer. It's like you put a guitar in it. Let's say we put a guitar in it, right? And then you can then manipulate the guitar playing other instruments. So I can strum a guitar strum, and then I can get that to then hopefully strum on the rings module, and I can get that sort of more digital sort of oscillator type sound. I kind of feel like that's kind of going to be cool. I mean, at the moment it's not even plugged in. It's just turned on. That's it. Haven't really used it. So that'd be cool. Yeah, I definitely was getting Jean-Michel Jarre vibes out of those VCS modules. They really do sound like a VCS3. And I mean, look, I've used a VCS3. I don't own one. They're expensive to buy because they're old, and they do make them still. But you don't want to pay what they charge you for making them new at the moment. But I think these are good. Like, yeah, 250 euros, I think, for one of those oscillators. You only need one. I only had like those different sounds. There was just one oscillator and a filter. So that sort of higher sound, a higher sequence sound, was a single oscillator, single filter, and I was using a Roland envelope generator. There is no VCS3 envelope generator yet, but I've asked Feedback Modules if they're going to do one, and he said maybe. So when he says maybe, usually it means he's going to do it. That'd be cool, because the envelope generator in the VCS3 is actually kind of unique. So that'd be cool. Yeah, more jamming ideas. Exactly, Darren. Exactly. How long have I been streaming for? A couple of hours. Cool. All right, I think we'll leave it. Hey, I think you guys go and get some lunch or dinner or whatever it is, your side of the world. I am going to enjoy Bonnie, the dog, snoring a bit longer. Other than that, thanks for watching. Catch you later.